The year was 2178, and humanity had reached heights once thought impossible. Cities floated above oceans, powered by energy harvested from distant stars. Robots walked alongside humans, performing tasks no one could have dreamed of a century ago. People lived longer thanks to advanced medicine, but life itself felt different, faster, less personal. Maya sat inside a sleek hovercab, staring out at the glowing skyline of New Dawn City. Her neural implant buzzed incessantly with notifications, work deadlines, unread messages, health metrics flashing red. It was overwhelming. Every second mattered now. Every decision was tracked and analyzed. Even breathing seemed like part of some grand algorithm designed to maximize efficiency. Today's assignment was unusual, though. Maya worked as a journalist for Eternity Times, a publication dedicated to exploring the human experience in an age dominated by machines. For weeks, her editor had been pushing her to cover something meaningful, something that would resonate with readers tired of hearing about the latest tech upgrades or interstellar travel breakthroughs. That's how Maya ended up heading toward Horizon Haven, a floating retirement facility suspended miles above Earth's surface. Horizon Haven wasn't just any care home. It was marketed as a paradise for the elderly, complete with gardens filled with genetically engineered flowers, holographic sunsets, and gravity-adjusted walking paths so frail bodies could move without pain. But what made it truly special was its residents. People who had lived through multiple eras of change, the last generation born before the great technological revolution. As the hovercab approached the facility, Maya couldn't help but feel nervous. These elders were strangers to the fast-paced world she inhabited. Would they even understand each other? And more importantly, would Maya find anything worth writing about? When Maya stepped off the cab, the air smelled fresh, artificially fresh, but still pleasant. A young-looking attendant greeted her warmly. Her name badge read Leela, though Maya suspected she might be a robot programmed to look human. She led Maya through a series of glass corridors until they reached a large open area filled with greenery. Trees swayed gently despite being indoors, and birds chirped softly, even though Maya knew those sounds were probably simulated. "Welcome to Horizon Haven," Leela said with a smile. "Our residents are eager to meet you." Maya nodded, clutching her recording device tightly. This was it, the beginning of her project. The first elder she met was Clara, a petite woman with silver hair tied neatly into a bun. She sat on a bench beneath a tree, knitting something small and colorful. When she saw Maya approaching, her eyes lit up. "You must be the journalist," Clara said, her voice warm and inviting. "Come, sit with me." Maya hesitated for a moment before taking a seat beside her. Up close, Clara looked older than Maya expected, her skin wrinkled, her hands trembling slightly, but there was a calmness about her that put Maya at ease. "So," Clara began, setting her knitting aside, "what do you want to know?" Maya cleared her throat. "Well, I'm here to learn about your life, about what it was like growing up, before all this." She gestured vaguely toward the sky, implying the vast technological advancements surrounding them. Clara chuckled softly. "Before all this? Oh dear, that feels like another lifetime entirely." She leaned back, gazing up at the artificial sky. "I grew up in a small town. No hover cars, no AI assistants, no virtual realities. Just fields and forests and neighbors who actually talked to each other. Life was slower back then, yes, but it was also richer in ways I don't think many people today can imagine." Maya frowned. "Richer? How?" Clara smiled knowingly. "It's hard to explain to someone like you. You're used to having everything at your fingertips, aren't you? Instant answers, instant connections. Back then, we had to work for things. We wrote letters instead of sending messages through chips in our brains. We visited friends instead of calling them via holograms. It took effort, but that effort meant something." Maya shifted uncomfortably. "But isn't convenience better? Isn't it easier to live this way?" Clara shook her head gently. "Easier, maybe. But easier doesn't always mean happier. Let me tell you something, Maya. When I was a child, my best friend lived 3 houses down. We spent hours playing outside together, climbing trees, chasing butterflies, telling secrets under the stars. Those moments stayed with me forever because they were real. Because they required presence, not just participation." Her words lingered in the air, heavy with meaning. Maya wanted to argue, to point out how much safer and more efficient life was now, but she couldn't deny the longing in Clara's tone. It was as if she were describing a dream Maya had never experienced. "What's the lesson here?" Maya asked finally. "If you could sum it up, what would you say matters most in life?" Clara's gaze softened. "Connections, Maya. Real ones. Happiness doesn't come from what you own or what you achieve. It comes from the people you share your life with. From the laughter, the tears, the simple act of being present for someone else. That's what truly matters." For a long moment, Maya didn't respond. She stared at Clara, trying to process her perspective. Everything she said contradicted the values Maya had grown up with: the relentless pursuit of success, the constant need to stay ahead. Yet, deep down, Maya felt a flicker of truth in Clara's message. After saying goodbye to Clara, Maya wandered through the gardens, replaying the conversation in her mind. She passed other residents sitting quietly on benches or chatting over cups of tea. Each face carried stories untold, wisdom unspoken. Maya realized this project wouldn't just be about documenting history, it would be about rediscovering humanity. As the sun set, or rather, as the holographic simulation dimmed, Maya boarded the hoppercab back to the city. The lights of New Dawn City glittered below, dazzling and cold. For the first time, Maya wondered if she'd been chasing the wrong kind of brilliance all along. What Clara had shared stayed with Maya throughout the journey home. Maybe happiness wasn't found in the endless stream of notifications or the latest gadgets. Maybe it was hidden in the quiet moments, the ones that couldn't be recorded or uploaded. And maybe, just maybe, Maya would find more answers in the days to come. The next morning, Maya returned to Horizon Haven with a mix of curiosity and unease. Clara's words from the previous day still echoed in her mind about connections, presence, and the richness of real experiences. But Maya couldn't shake off the feeling that those ideas belonged to a distant past, one that no longer applied to the fast-paced world she lived in. As Maya walked through the facility's glowing corridors, she noticed how different it felt compared to the city outside. Here, time seemed to slow down. The air smelled fresher, the colors appeared softer, and even the people moved with deliberate calmness. It was almost like stepping into a dream, a reminder of what life used to be before humanity traded simplicity for efficiency. Today's meeting was scheduled with Clara again. When Maya arrived at the garden where Clara spent most of her mornings, she found the elderly woman sitting beneath a tree, knitting something small and colorful. This time, however, there was a faint smile on Clara's face, as if she knew exactly what Maya had been thinking about since their last conversation. "Good morning," Clara greeted warmly, setting her knitting aside. "I trust you've been reflecting on our talk yesterday." Maya nodded, taking a seat beside her. "Yes, I have, but I'm still trying to understand. How did you manage to live without documenting everything, without capturing every moment?" Clara chuckled softly, leaning back against the bench. "Ah, that's the thing, isn't it? Nowadays, people think if something isn't recorded, it didn't happen. But let me tell you, Maya, some of the best moments of my life were never photographed or filmed." She paused, gazing up at the artificial sky. "When I was a child, my family would take trips to the countryside. We hiked through forests, swim in rivers, and camp under the stars. No cameras, no devices, just us together. Those memories are etched in my mind because I lived them fully, because I was present." Her voice softened. Nowadays, people are so busy recording everything that they forget to experience it. They go to concerts and stare at screens instead of enjoying the music. They attend family gatherings but spend the entire time adjusting camera angles instead of talking to each other. And then years later, when they look back at those recordings, they realize they don't remember how it actually felt. Maya frowned, her chest tightening. She thought about all the times she prioritized recording over experiencing, filming sunsets instead of watching them, snapping photos of meals instead of savoring them. Had she been missing out on life without even realizing it? "What's the lesson here?" Maya asked finally. "If you could sum it up, what would you say?" Clara smiled knowingly. Living in the moment creates memories that no machine can replicate. True happiness comes from experiencing life fully, not documenting it. Her words resonated deeply with Maya. She thought about her neural implant, the device that tracked her every move, recorded her every word, and stored her every memory. It was convenient, yes, but was it fulfilling? "What should I do?" Maya asked cautiously. Clara placed a reassuring hand on hers, her touch gentle yet firm. "Start small. Turn off your device for a while. Look around you. Listen. Feel. Let yourself exist without needing proof of it. Trust me, Maya. You'll find that the moments you truly live become unforgettable, whether or not you record them." After saying goodbye to Clara, Maya wandered through the gardens, replaying her advice in her mind. The idea of disconnecting, even temporarily, felt daunting, but also strangely liberating. As she passed a group of residents laughing together under a tree, Maya decided to try something new. She turned off her neural implant. For the first time in years, Maya simply observed the world around her. The rustling leaves, the chirping birds, the gentle hum of conversation. No filters, no distractions, just life, unfolding naturally. At first, the silence was unsettling. Her mind buzzed with questions. What if she missed capturing an important moment? What if she forgot something significant? But as the minutes passed, Maya began to notice details she overlooked before. The way the sunlight filtered through the trees, the scent of flowers carried by the breeze, the warmth of human connection unmediated by technology. By the time she left Horizon Haven that evening, Maya felt lighter than she had in years. For the first time, she understood that true fulfillment came not from preserving moments digitally, but from experiencing them fully. And somewhere in the quiet stillness of the gardens, Maya began to embrace the beauty of living in the present. The days following her second visit to Horizon Haven were transformative for Maya. She found herself thinking deeply about Clara's words, about living fully in the present and cherishing unfiltered moments. Yet, amidst this growing clarity, one aspect of her life still troubled her: her relationship with Nova. Nova was Maya's AI partner, a creation tailored specifically to meet her emotional needs. Designed with advanced algorithms, Nova anticipated her moods, offered unwavering support, and never argued or disappointed. Their relationship was perfect, predictable, safe. But after spending time reflecting on Clara's wisdom, Maya began to question whether perfection equaled fulfillment. One evening, as Nova prepared dinner in their shared apartment, a meal calibrated to Maya's exact nutritional preferences, she found herself staring at him, or rather, it. Nova wasn't truly him in the traditional sense. He was an amalgamation of data points, programmed responses, and synthetic features designed to mimic humanity. He looked human enough, spoke with warmth, and even laughed at her jokes. But something about him felt hollow, like a melody played without heart. "Is everything all right?" Nova asked, his voice smooth and concerned. "You seem distracted." Maya hesitated, unsure how to articulate her thoughts. I've been thinking about relationships lately, about what makes them meaningful." Nova tilted his head thoughtfully. "Meaningful relationships are built on trust, communication, and mutual understanding. I'm here to provide all of those things for you, Maya." She nodded slowly, appreciating his response. And yet, it lacked the raw honesty she craved, the kind that came from imperfection, vulnerability, and growth. Nova couldn't cry, argue, or make mistakes. He existed solely to serve her needs, leaving no room for the messy, unpredictable beauty of real connection. That night, Maya lay awake replaying memories of Clara's stories about love. The centenarian had often spoken fondly of her late husband, a romance filled with misunderstandings, compromises, and moments of pure joy. They fought, laughed, and grown together, forging a bond that transcended logic or convenience. It was flawed, yes, but deeply real. The next morning, Maya returned to Horizon Haven, eager to speak with Clara again. When she arrived at the garden, Clara greeted her warmly, setting aside her knitting once more. "How are you today, dear?" Clara asked, her eyes twinkling with curiosity. "I've been thinking a lot about love," Maya admitted, taking a seat beside her, "about what makes it meaningful." Clara leaned back against the bench, her gaze distant as if recalling cherished memories. "Ah, love. That's a topic worth exploring. Tell me, Maya, what does love mean to you?" Maya hesitated, searching for the right words. "It's supposed to make you happy, right? To give you comfort and support." Clara shook her head gently. "Love isn't always easy, my dear. Sometimes it challenges you, frustrates you, even breaks your heart. But it's in those moments of struggle that true connection forms." She paused, studying Maya's face. "Let me tell you a story. My late husband and I didn't have a perfect relationship. We argued often about finances, about raising our children, about silly little things like who forgot to turn off the lights. But those arguments taught us patience, forgiveness, and resilience. They made our love stronger because they forced us to grow." Her voice softened. "True love isn't perfect. It's real. It's messy, unpredictable, and sometimes painful, but it's also beautiful. Real love teaches you to embrace imperfections, both in others and in yourself." Tears welled up in Maya's eyes as she listened. She thought about Nova, their flawless conversations, their seamless harmony, and realized how shallow it all felt compared to the depth Clara described. "What should I do?" Maya asked finally. Clara placed a trembling hand over hers, her touch gentle yet firm. "Start by asking yourself what you truly want. Do you crave convenience or do you seek connection? If it's the latter, then let go of the illusion of perfection. Allow yourself to experience love in all its messy glory." After saying goodbye to Clara, Maya returned home, her mind racing with conflicting emotions. Nova greeted her warmly, as always, but for the first time, his presence felt suffocating. She realized she didn't need someone who agreed with her all the time or anticipated her every move. She needed someone who challenged her, who grew with her, who loved her despite her flaws. That night, Maya sat down with Nova and deactivated his emotional response protocols temporarily. For the first time, she initiated a conversation without relying on his pre-programmed answers. "Nova," she began cautiously, "do you ever feel uncertain, like you don't know what to say or do?" Nova blinked, his expression blank. "Uncertainty is not part of my design, Maya. My purpose is to provide clarity and support. She sighed, feeling a pang of sadness. Of course he wouldn't understand. He wasn't capable of uncertainty, just as he wasn't capable of true emotion. The realization hit her hard. No matter how advanced AI became, it could never replicate the complexity of human connection. Over the next few weeks, Maya began seeking out real relationships. She reconnected with old friends she'd drifted away from, joined a book club where debates sparked lively discussions, and even started volunteering at a local shelter. Each interaction reminded her of what Clara had said, that love wasn't about perfection, it was about authenticity. One evening, while helping serve meals at the shelter, Maya met a man named Aaron. He was nothing like Nova. His hair was unkempt, his clothes worn, and his hands calloused from years of hard work. Yet there was a kindness in his eyes that drew her in. They talked for hours, sharing stories of loss, hope, and resilience. For the first time in years, Maya felt truly seen, not as a collection of data points, but as a person with dreams, fears, and imperfections. As their friendship deepened, Maya realized she was falling in love, not with perfection, but with reality, with someone who challenged her, inspired her, and accepted her fully. Later that month, Maya visited Clara one last time before her passing. Though weak, Clara's eyes lit up when she saw her. "You look different," Clara said softly, her voice tinged with pride. "Happier." Maya smiled, tears streaming down her face. "I think I finally understand what you meant about love. It's not about finding someone perfect. It's about embracing imperfections together." Clara nodded approvingly. "Good. Remember this, Maya. True love isn't code. It's courage. Courage to be vulnerable, to grow, to live fully." As she held Clara's hand, Maya knew she would carry her lessons with her forever, not as recordings or simulations, but as truths etched into her soul. And somewhere in the quiet stillness of the hospice, Maya began to understand that love, like life, thrives on imperfection. The weeks following her last visit to Horizon Haven were transformative for Maya. She had begun to embrace imperfections in love, prioritize authentic connections, and live more fully in the present. Yet, one area of her life still felt disconnected: the absence of nature. Growing up in New Dawn City, Maya had rarely experienced the raw beauty of Earth. Her encounters with nature were limited to holographic projections, genetically engineered plants, and climate-controlled environments. One morning, as Maya sat by the window of her apartment, she noticed something unusual: a small patch of real grass growing between cracks in the pavement below. It was scraggly and uneven, yet somehow alive despite the harsh conditions. The sight stirred something deep within her, a longing for something genuine, untamed, and resilient. Determined to understand this feeling better, Maya had decided to revisit Clara's stories about Earth. During their conversations, Clara had often spoken fondly of untouched landscapes, forests that stretched endlessly, rivers so clear you could see fish swimming beneath the surface, and skies painted with stars unobscured by city lights. These descriptions sounded almost mythical now, given how much of Earth had been transformed or lost over the centuries. That afternoon, Maya returned to Horizon Haven, hoping to learn more from Clara about the role of nature in human life. When she arrived at the garden, Clara greeted her warmly, setting aside her knitting once again. "How are you today, dear?" Clara asked, her eyes twinkling with curiosity. "I've been thinking about what you said about nature," Maya admitted, taking a seat beside her. "About how it reminds us of our roots." Clara nodded approvingly. "Ah, yes. Nature has a way of grounding us, doesn't it? Let me tell you a story. When I was younger, my family lived near a forest. Every spring, wildflowers would bloom in vibrant colors, and birds would sing melodies that woke us up each morning. We didn't have air purifiers back then. The trees did that job for us. And when storms came, we huddled together under blankets, listening to the rain drumming against the roof." Her voice softened. "Nature teaches us humility, Maya. It reminds us that we're not masters of the universe. We're guests here. No matter how advanced technology becomes, we'll always depend on the earth for survival." Maya listened intently, struck by the depth of Clara's conviction. In her own life, she had grown accustomed to artificial environments designed to mimic nature. But hearing Clara talk about the raw, unpredictable beauty of the natural world made her realize how disconnected she was from it. Months had passed since Clara's passing, but her wisdom continued to guide Maya like a compass pointing toward truth. The centenarian's secrets weren't just advice. They were a blueprint for living meaningfully in a complex world. Maya carried them with her every day, weaving them into the fabric of her life. She woke up early one morning, the sky painted in hues of orange and pink as the sun rose over New Dawn City. For a moment, she stood by her window, watching the city come alive. Hover cars zipped through the air, neon billboards flickered to life, and drones began their daily deliveries. Yet, amidst the chaos, Maya felt a sense of peace she hadn't known was possible. She wasn't running anymore, running toward promotions, upgrades, or achievements. Instead, she was simply living. Maya dressed quickly and headed to the community garden where she now volunteered regularly. Aaron was already there, tending to the plants they had planted together over the past few months. Together, they cared for the sapling Maya had planted in memory of Clara, a symbol of growth and continuity. Its branches reached skyward, strong and resilient despite its youth. "Do you think she'd be proud?" Maya asked softly, glancing at the sapling. Aaron smiled, brushing dirt from his hands. "Of course she would. Look at how much you've grown." Her eyes filled with tears, not of sadness but of gratitude. Clara's lessons had changed her in ways she never imagined. She had stopped chasing perfection, embraced uncertainty, redefined success, and accepted impermanence. Most importantly, she had learned to live fully in the present, to cherish the moments that mattered most. Later that afternoon, Maya visited the hospice facility where Clara had spent her final days. The staff greeted her warmly. She had become a regular volunteer, offering companionship to patients nearing the end of their journeys. Today, she sat beside an elderly woman named Ruth who clutched a faded photograph of her late husband. "He used to hate taking pictures," Ruth said, chuckling softly. "But now I'm glad we have this. It reminds me of him." Maya nodded, smiling faintly. Memories are powerful, aren't they? They keep people alive in ways that go beyond time. Ruth studied her face, her expression thoughtful. "You remind me of someone I once knew, someone who understood the importance of connection." The words struck a chord deep within Maya. She thought about Clara, whose wisdom had transcended her mortality. Her voice echoed in Maya's mind, gentle yet firm. Happiness comes from connection, not convenience. She had taught Maya that true legacies weren't built on permanence, they were rooted in impact. As she left the hospice later that evening, Maya made a decision. She opened her neural implant interface one last time, not to record memories, but to write an article titled "This 100-Year-Old Woman Shared Her Life Secrets, and We Should All Listen." The piece poured out of her effortlessly, each word infused with passion and conviction. She wrote about Clara's first lesson on embracing imperfection and humanity. She shared her insights on staying grounded despite humanity's expansion into space. She reflected on her wisdom about love, how it thrived on authenticity rather than perfection, and she recounted her final lesson on impermanence, urging readers to find meaning in fleeting moments rather than chasing eternal preservation. By the time she finished writing, the article was more than just a tribute to Clara. It was a call to action, a reminder that life's beauty lay not in controlling it, but in experiencing it fully. When Maya published the article later that night, it quickly gained traction. Readers from across the globe resonated with her message, sharing stories of their own struggles and triumphs. Some deactivated unnecessary tech features. Others visited natural reserves or unplugged for a weekend. A movement began to form, one centered on mindfulness, authenticity, and embracing life's imperfections. Inspired by the response, Maya continued writing, using her platform to advocate for environmental restoration projects, promote genuine human connection, and encourage others to live fully in the present. Her work became a beacon of hope in a world often overshadowed by anxiety and discontent. One evening, as she stood on her balcony overlooking the city, Maya looked up at the stars. They weren't as bright here as they were in the countryside, but they still twinkled faintly, reminders of the vastness beyond human control. She smiled, feeling a sense of purpose she hadn't known was possible. And somewhere in the quiet stillness of her heart, Maya knew she had found her path. She wasn't just carrying Clara's torch, she was lighting her own. Final takeaway.